to say, basically, I can anticipate. It's not a surprise to me, but it is surprising to me to see how you portray China as a devil in the region, while yourself look almost like an angel. But let me ask you a question that I talked yesterday. In 2000 and in 2013,
Regardless, di ba? That's the chairman. 60% Filipino-owned yan. Mas gugustuhin ko na yung chairman ko Pilipino. Bakit ko ibibigay sa dayuhan yan? 40% lang yung kanilang hawak.
Yung mga bagay na dapat in control ang mga Pilipino, dapat fully controlled by Filipino citizens.
Hello po mga ka-viral and welcome back again to this YouTube channel. Latest update na naman tayo. Congressman and Attorney Rufus Rodriguez nag-apoy sa galit sa mga commissioner ng NGCP o National Grid Commission of the Philippines sa congressional hearing hinggil sa national franchise sa energy and electricity ng bansa. Nadiscovery kasi na maaaring kinokontrol ng China ang kuryente ng bansa simula nang nakipag-collaborate ang bansa sa China sa pamamagitan ng NGCP noong nagdaang administrasyon. Pinangangambahan kasi na maaaring kontrolado ng China ang mga operasyon ng kuryente ng bansa at ang pagtaas ng presyo ng singil sa mga consumers. Napag-alaman sa investigasyon na merong control system ito sa Nanjing, China. Subalit hindi ito inamin ng mga representatives ng NGCP na sina Atty. Malyari at ang mga kasama nito. Subalit sinabon sila ng mga magigiting na kongresista sa pagdinig. Isa din sa pinangangambahan ni Atty. Rodriguez ay ang seguridad ng bansa o ang national security dahil sa koneksyon natin sa China. At dahil 40% ang NGCP ay kontrolado ng China at 60% naman sa mga Pilipino ay wala pa ring magagawa di umano ang bansa kung imamaniobra nila ang system dahil mas advanced sila sa teknolohiya dahil sila ang creator nitong proyekto na ayon kay Attorney Jinkel Westro ay mas nakakabahala ang kanilang plano na hindi alam nating mga Pilipino. Napag-alaman din na ang chairman at executive officers ng NGCP ay mga pure Chinese at hindi mga Pilipino na ayon kay Congressman Luestro ay labag sa batas at paglapastangan sa atin ng mga Pilipino. Sa susunod na mga pagdinig sa franchise ng NGCP ay mas magiging malalim pa ang tutuklasin ng komite at ipapatawag nila ang iba pang mga opisyal ng NGCP na maaaring may kinalaman kung sino-sino ang nagplano nito.
Did you comply with this constitutional provision? A. Having said so, because the same is indicated in your document, do you maintain your position that the executive and managerial officers are Filipino citizens? Important constitutional provisions which must be raised pertaining to public utilities that includes the NGCP. One is the ownership, that the same must be 60% Filipino-owned and 40% may be allowed to be foreign-owned. May I ask the NGCP, did you comply with this constitutional provision?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And the second important constitutional provision, Mr. Chair, is that the executive and managerial officers should be Filipino citizens. NGCP, did you comply with this constitutional provision? Yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Having said that, Mr. Chair, I wish to raise the information I gathered from the reports and various documents. First, based on the 2024 GIS of the NGCP, the chairman of the same is a certain Guang Chao, a Chinese national. Does the NGCP confirm this?
Please reply.
Your Honor, we'll have to refer to our GIS for that.
Yes, where's the GIS? You have a copy?
The name Zhu Guangchao, described as Chinese, is designated as chairman in the 2024 General Information Sheet of the NGCP. Having said so, because the same is indicated in your document, do you maintain your position that the executive and managerial officers are Filipino citizens?
Attorney San Diego, ang pagbabasihan ng po GIS, ha? Yes or no?
The chairman of our board is Mr. Su Guancho.
Okay, Chinese. Okay, yes, yes. The answer is
Are you saying that you complied with the constitutional provision that the executive and managing officers should be Filipino citizens only, considering that your chairman is a Chinese citizen?
Yes, Your Honor, our executive and managers are all Filipino.
How do you consider a chairman of NGCP? Is it not a managerial or executive position?
Your Honor, Mr. Swagwan ko is a chairman of the board of the directors, but our executive officials and officers are all Filipino.
We take note of your answer, but this representation sadly believes otherwise. For this alone, it is my humble submission that the NGCP violated this constitutional provision. Second, Mr. Chair, which were disclosed in the records of the NGCP, Leo Zhao Yang, described as Assistant Chief Technical Officer. Leo Sin Ju Wan, described as Chairman of Board Audit Committee. These two officers are responsible for hiring employees and signing contracts with them. Having said so, Mr. Chair, may we hear from the NGCP, are you still maintaining your position that executive and managerial officers are Filipino citizens? Liu Zhaoyang and Liu Xinju are both described as Chinese citizens.
Your Honor, we maintain that all our executives and officers are all Filipino. But Your Honor, if I may, I have been looking at our GIS, but the mentioned names were not here in the 2022 GIS of NGCP.
In the what?
GIS of NGCP.
Mr. Chair, we will be flashing some documents on the later part of the interpellation showing these names, including the others who participated in the operation, most especially the technical aspect of the NGCP. Another significant name that I came across with is Wen Bo, Chief Technical Officer. And he's described as well as a Chinese citizen, Mr. Chair. And with that, I wish to manifest, without asking anymore the NGCP, that the operation is participated not only by Filipino citizens. Proceeding, Mr. Chair, I want to know more about this NGCP, so I wish to ask the NGCP, sino-sino po ba ang mga miyembro at ibang officers ng NGCP based on your GIS? May we request the Secretariat to please flash the 2024 GIS. NGCP, please. Of course, the document confirms Zhu Guangchao as the chairman of NGCP. And in addition to this Chinese national, we have also number 8, Yao Yusheng, Wang Lijin, Liu Xinhua. Although their positions are not indicated in this GIS. Proceeding to our GIS on stock holdings, Mr. Chair. Kindly flash the next slide. The GIS on stock ownership. There. There is one corporation here, Monte Oro Grid, which owns 27.23% of its shareholdings. Another corporation, Kalaka High Power Corporation, which is 27.23%. Third corporation is State Grid International Development Limited. That is 36.30%. Plus the 4 Chinese individuals who owns 1% each of its stock holdings. From the face of this general information sheet, Mr. Chair, it appears indeed that the Chinese ownership is 40%. However, with all due respect to our esteemed colleagues, I wish to agree to the honorable members who insisted on requesting for the GIS of the corporations who own shareholdings as well, in order to find out the extent of Filipino ownership, as it might affect as well the requisite ownership as imposed by the Philippine Constitution, and that is, to be specific, 60% Filipino owned and 40% foreign owned as may be allowed. And therefore, let this representation reiterate the earlier motion to Sestecum for the submission of the GIS of Monte Oro, Kalaka High Power, and if possible, a State Grid International Development. That is, if our intention indeed is to find out if there is full compliance with the requirement of the Philippine Constitution. Another corporation which GIS we want to request, as earlier requested, is the Synergy Grid Development Philippines, which owns 9.24% of the stock holdings of NGCP, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I want to go back to the 60-40 ownership. While I do acknowledge that the remaining 40% of the stock holdings may be foreign-owned, I just want to satisfy my curiosity. Considering the significance of this Public Utility Corporation, NGCP, ang tanong ko po, NGCP, wala na po bang ibang Filipino citizens interested to own that 40% which currently belongs to the Chinese nationals?
Your Honor, we do not have any knowledge or aware of it.
May we know, NGCP, the primary reason why the NGCP preferred or allowed or opted to have this 40% be owned by Chinese citizens? Because the possibility, Mr. Chair, is that there are Filipino citizens or corporations as well who might be interested during the time, 2008, to acquire this 40% stock holdings of the NGCP. But as we can see from the GIS, that 40% is currently owned by State Grid of China Corporation plus the 4 other Chinese nationals. Pasensya na po, but you are representing the NGCP. So I wish to believe that somehow you are aware bakit po ang naging preference ng NGCP is to have this owned by Chinese nationals.
Your
Yes,
Honor,
ma'am.
may I be recognized? Your Honor,
Please.
NGCP, Mr. Chair, was incorporated after the consortium of its stockholders won the 25-year concession in an open public bidding held by PISAM. As required by PISAM's bid documents, again, Mr. Chair, all prospective bidders had a technical partner. All prospective bidders should have a technical partner with proven expertise in transmission systems. Since the National Transmission Corporation, TRANSCO, was the only transmission expert in the Philippines at that time, the technical expert is necessarily foreign, Mr. Chair. So to respond to the question,
Mr. Chair, the NGCP made mention about technical partner. Can we please expound on this? What specifically did we anticipate from our Chinese counterpart when you said we need the technical partner?
Your Honor, technical would include the operation of the transmission systems.
Operation?
And as well as the systems operation, Mr. Chair, so transmission systems and DSO. And these aspects, Your Honor, transmission industry, Your Honor, is really, it's highly technical.
Kanina po, sinabi nyo din, Transco lang ang merong technical capacity, should I say, or resources. And that is why you relied on foreign ownership when it comes to technical part. To enlighten the public, NGCP, are you trying to say na ito pong technical part ng NGCP cannot be provided at all by Filipino citizens?
Your Honor, yung konteksto po ng response ko was that from the beginning, and that nung nagbidding din po nung panahon na yon, nung binid out din po ito ni PISAM, other participants in that bidding is meron din po silang kani-kanilang technical expert who were also foreigner, Mr. Chair. Right? So, kinakonteksto ko lang po, Mr. Chair, na kaya na hanggang ngayon, nagpapatuloy pa rin, Mr. Chair, yung composition ng NGCP.
Let's go back to the time when NGCP was incorporated and applied for a franchise, because that's what you are referring to. You were saying during that time, the only company which has technical capacity is Transco, and the other companies with technical capacity has foreign counterparts as well. Do you confirm that?
Mr. Chair, because transmission,
Please answer the question,
Yes,
NGCP.
I confirm.
And with that answer, are you trying to say that during that time, hindi kaya ng Filipino citizens to supply the technology or the technical aspect of the NGCP operation?
at the time, Mr. Chair, yes.
At that time, yes. And of course, when you say technology or technical operation, that goes to the heart of the very operation of the NGCP. And you were saying hindi kaya ng mga Pilipino. Tama po ba ito, NGCP? At least during the time.
During the time.
At kung hindi ito kaya ng Pilipino during the time, then it follows during the time, we were solely dependent on our Chinese counterpart who owns the 40%. Yes or no?
Mr. Chair, can I give a context? Because the bid document, Mr. Chair, requires for a technical partner.
Mr. Chair, I'm just following the answer of our resource persons. We go back to 2008. You said during the time hindi kaya ng mga Filipino. Then it follows that during the time we are solely dependent to these Chinese corporations and citizens in as far as the operation of NGCP, a public utility corporation which ownership and operation is protected by no less than the Philippine Constitution.
Mr. Chair, kung sinasabi nating Pilipino, meron yung mga pong employees ni Transco na after na-incorporate na si NGCP at si NGCP na po ang concessionaire, yung ito pong mga employees na technical ng Transco has been assumed. So,
However, Mr. Chair, even considering that they have Filipino employees, of course we understand that the citizenship of the corporation is determined by the extent of ownership of the owners. If the owners majority are foreigner, then it is a foreign corporation. Otherwise, it is a Filipino corporation. If I may proceed, Mr. Chair. Another
Is it true that, these Chinese are going to, because if you say it's true, I will call for the revocation of your franchise. Can the Chinese close any of the 3 control points of the NGCP in the 3 islands of the islands of the Philippines? My island, the land of unfulfilled promise, Mindanao, the promise of the interconnection has been done. That's why I am grateful. We will know. Is there a switchboard that is held by the chairman, Chinese, in Beijing? Is that correct? Let us have the answer. So that this is the national security concern, which I am also concerned, because we do not want China to have, a grip on our energy system. None, Mr. Chairman. Let's have the answer, officially. You are under oath. Can the Chinese minority owners, can they sabotage our country by just stopping supply of energy to any part of the country? Answer, please.
They cannot, Mr. Chair.
Also, the answer of Mr. You're a lawyer like me, so let's give it to the more technical ones. Come here, Mr. Aguilar. Sometimes us lawyers would tend to, know everything, but this is something that is pertaining now to national security and the fact that these Chinese can never come to one of your control system site and go there and turn off the grid in Luzon, or go to the Visayas, or come to the city of Golden Friendship, my city of Cagayan de Oro, to be able to stop the supply of electricity in Mindanao. Can you now explain to us under oath, what is the situation? Can they do it?
Yes, sir. They cannot control the power system of the Philippines with a single button. Yes, sir.
Any switchboard or control being held by people in Beijing or even in Guangzhou, nearer to us, that they can, interfere in the supply of energy in the Philippines?
None. None, sir.
And if they try to come to the 3 points, are you going to shoot them, which I suggest, to sabotage our supply? Will you do that, Mr. Aguilar? Do you have a gun?
He's Mr. Agustin.
Mr. Agustin. Oh,
I may not.
will you allow a Chinese like me, think looking,
Yes, sir.
to go there and then, disperse with the 3-man team and then put a button that will stop supply in Luzon? Can that happen?
We will not allow that to happen, but I think we will not shoot them, sir.
We should shoot them if they do that, because that is part of self-defense. So, Mr. Chairman, with all these testimonies from, first, the ERC, second, the SEC, third, the BIR, through my statement, and the NGCP. So, Mr. Chairman, in this committee, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? What do you want to do with NGCP? It has complied with all of the requirements of the franchise. It has complied with the Constitution. So that is what the question is, but you don't have to answer. Because that is the prerogative of the Committee on Franchise to look into all the franchises of this country and be able to evaluate their performance and have even a motu proprio investigation. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Mr. Chairman. Again, Cagayan de Oro And Mindanao is thankful for the interconnection of our lines to the Visayas and to
Thank you
Mindanao.
very
Thank you.
much. The Honorable President is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I have only short manifestation since we have the motto proprio for NGCP, no? After this hearing, maybe in the next 2 hearings, pag wala ho tayong resulta na hindi bumaba ang presyo ng kuryente natin, ay wala rin ho mangyayari. That's why when we came here with Congressman Dago, naka-prepare kami some solutions, some formula how to lower the price of electricity. I hope when this has been said and done, sana po hindi masayang po itong ating hearing. So I'm also in favor sa majority na mga questions nila. But at the end of the day, it's about the presyo, no? Yung mababang kuryente. So I hope, Mr. Chair, in the next committee, in the next hearing, matakal din natin because we prepared a lot of questions how to lower the price of electricity in the Philippines. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, the Honorable De Jesus. Since there are no other interpellators,
As a general statement, do you agree?
No, ma'am.
Ibig sabihin mo, you're the one using the system of China. Mas marami kang alam kesa nag-create ng system?
No, ma'am. As I've said,
This is a
yeah.
general statement, NGCP. It is not my intention to undermine the technical know-how of people from the NGCP, but logically speaking, ang sabi, the creature cannot become higher than its creator. I believe that the one who created knows more and knows better about the system than the one using the system. Do you agree?
I disagree, ma'am. Say, for example, baba, meron akong laptop, computer. It's made in the US or in China. That does not mean the manufacturer can remotely use my device. Kung analogy po, ma'am, ang pinag-uusapan.
No, I'm talking about the system as a whole and considering its use, the use of the system, considering that they were the ones who created it, it is my humble submission that no matter how expert we are, the one who created knows better about the system. That is a manifestation. We respect your position. To continue, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Chairman?
Romy Ako.
With the indulgence of the Honorable Luistro, because I'm interested in the point she was making a while ago. I did not get it clearly, yung sagot po ng resource person. May I ask some clarificatory questions, Mr. Chair?
If the Honorable Luistro will allow, Honorable Luistro, there were questions that he would like to ask for clarification. Yes, the Honorable Akop, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sinabi po nyo kanina, 10 yung control points. Tama po ba yung pagkarinig ko? For the entire country, 10 yung control points. Tama po ba yung pagkarinig ko?
Sir, hindi 10 as in 10?
Yes.
Hindi
10.
po. Hindi po. We have 3 control centers, one for each region.
One for each.
One for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
And walang central control point to control the 3 control points.
Meron po kaming convergence point, yung central grid operations, pero it's just monitoring the interchange points.
Yeah, but
Wala po. For each region, you're correct, sir.
so if you decide to cut off the power for the entire country, wala po yun.
Wala po.
Wala po. So it's for the 3 control points.
Yes,
Kung
sir.
gusto nyong patayin ang power sa Visayas, po pwede.
Yes, sir. Using the control center, one
Yes.
by one, you turn off the circuit breakers.
So
you
walang
isolate the plants.
central control point to control yung 3 control points.
Yes, sir. If you're referring the central control point as a single control, single button, wala pong ganun.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The Honorable Akop. Thank you. So, The Honorable G. Luistro, you still have the floor.
Mr. Chair, just a interjection. With the indulgence of Congresswoman
Yes,
Luistro,
yes, agreed.
na medyo nakiliti lang ako dun sa tanong ni Congressman Acop. If I may ask, this is a technical question. Kasi kanina ang sagot, walang central control system, no, to turn off, let's say, the whole power system of the country, correct?
Sir, we have a control center pero walang single button to turn
It off. Okay.
Yes.
Now, can anyone just turn it off like that? Anong proseso pag turn off niyan? Sinong may approval?
Yun.
We have on-duty system operators.
So yung duty lang ang nando doon. Halimbawa, yung naka-on duty, kinurap nung isang kalaban ng bansa. At sinabi, patayin mo lahat nung yung area ng kuryente nung area yon. Can they do that?
What do you mean by corrupt? In-instruct?
Oh, in-instruct. Oh.
They should not follow.
Huh?
It's not part of their duty, sir.
No. What was that again?
Hindi. Ibig sabihin, sir, how could they do that? Why would they follow the instruction of other people from other countries?
In simple analogy, ganito lang yan. Ano? Sabi mo kasi, it can just be turned off just like that.
Yes, sir.
Diba? Now, ang tanong ko, sino ang pwedeng magsabi i-turn off yan? At kung merong ganyang order, ano yung procedure o yung proseso para i-turn off yan?
Yes, sir. We have procedures on how we operate our equipment and especially the grid. May mga responsibility po yung system operator as outlined dyan sa Philippine Grid Code, and then meron kaming mga internal procedures.
Okay, ganito na lang, para doon sa mga nanonood, no? Halimbawa, kaya nga binigyan kita example Sabi mo yung duty, ano yun? Ang sabi mo? What did you say? The
Yung
duty?
system operator on duty, meron po kaming
System
dispatcher
operator
na tinatawag.
on duty. Siya ang may kapangyarihan para i-switch on or i-switch off yung power supply, correct?
Yes, opo.
Okay. Dahil siya on duty, tinakot ng isang terrorist group, no? Tinutukan, tinakot. Sinabi niyang patayin mo yung switch na yan, turn it off. Can they do that?
Hypothetical po, kung halimbawang nasakop nga, nandun siya sa control center, that's possible. Kasi ma-operate niya manually.
Ano nga yung procedure pag turn off?
Meron po tayong...
Who decides? Is that the decision of the duty, ano yun? Duty system manager o ganyan?
Yes, sir,
Decision
opo.
lang niya yun?
It's a decision based on established procedures po. May guidelines po tayo.
May established procedure pala Ano nga yung procedure? Ano yung procedure?
Kung halimbawa po, merong maintenance, pwede niyang patayin yon. May emergency, may risk sa life, sa equipment, pwede niya pong patayin.
I raised a hypothetical scenario na terrorist group came into that place. Tinakot yung operator. Sabi, patayin mo yung kaya niyang gawin yon.
Kaya niya po.
So yun ang tinatanong namin.
Yeah, if it's possible,
so ibig
he can do
sabihin, the power to switch it on or switch it off ay nasa isang tao lang doon sa duty manager.
Not necessarily isang tao, isang team. Usually po, 3 tao yung naka-duty.
Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Ibig sabihin, nasa kamay lang nila ang desisyon. So, walang security feature. Wala man lamang safety measure or security measure to prevent that hypothetical scenario from happening. Is that correct?
Sir, yung details po, pwede naman namin i-discuss kasi kung sabi nyo nga, security yung involved. Pero public po kasi baka po hindi namin basta-basta ma-disclose yung process nung...
Sige, let's not go into the details. Yun lang gusto namin malaman. Kung may isang nasa kamay lang ng isa, dalawa, 3 tao pala, pwede nang i-switch yun
Yes, sir.
Alam mo, very critical yung issue that we are discussing here because one, Bukod dun sa issue that Congressman Dan Fernandez raised and the chair raised, the question that actually needs answers is who controls NGCP? Is it the Filipino or the Chinese? Based on documents, sinasabi na Chinese kasi sila yung kaya nga we're digging deeper. That's why we're asking questions. Now you're telling us na yung meron palang power to switch it on or off is only in the hands of one or a few. Therefore, masyadong vulnerable yung sistemang yan. But I will ask that question later.